Hi, welcome to Strength Reversed. It's Amy. Thank you so much for being here today. This is my second installment in my Light Seers Sundays series, Light Seers Sundays, where I choose a major arcana card from the Light Seers deck and we work through the little mini spread that comes in the Tarot for Light Seers book. Last week I started with the Magician by accident, and this week I pulled the Moon. So at the end of this video, I will pull the card for next week. And I'm glad that I decided not to go in order because I think things are coming up for me exactly as they need to. I'm just getting timely messages. Doesn't that always happen with tarot? I love that. So this week I sat down and I have this journal. I don't know if you're like me, but I use different journals for different things. Like I have journals that I have my main journal where it's like my guts, my emotions, and then I have a journal where I just take notes about tarot cards or different courses. And then I have this journal where I compare tarot cards from different decks. Do you do that? I think it's really just my excuse to start a new journal. Like I find a journal at Walmart or something and go, I need to buy that, and then I do. So for example, I might compare the Eight of Wands in two different decks, or this was last week's The Magician, and I usually just write down as much as comes to me. I kind of brainstorm what pops up for me about the card, and then I'll go through and read the guidebook and write down anything else that the guidebook had to add. So that's how I go about doing that, getting my thoughts together about these cards. So here's the Rider-Waite version of the Moon, kind of the gold standard. Can I tell you, I really dislike having faces in celestial bodies. I don't like a face on the sun or the moon. There's just something about it that demystifies it, or just, I don't like it. No likey. And you have like the lobster or the crawfish or whatever it is, and crawling out of the primordial ooze, and it's a very primal card, and you know, all the dark parts, all the shadows, related to the Hermit, which is number 9, and this is 18, which adds up to 9. And I think because I'm a Scorpio, this card is something that I don't mind seeing. I really like this card. I identify with this card, and I think kind of sitting in the darkness feels really familiar to me. And, you know, sometimes we get sick of that, being in that place, but that's where all the growth is, right? It's not in the sunshine, that's for damn sure. So, I mean, that card, when I look at it, it's okay, but when I look at the Light Seers card and the Muse card, I just, like, have a different feeling, and I click with the meaning a lot more. I guess because in the RWS, there's so much, this to me is a really astrological card, and you know I hate that. So here we have the Moon. It's very watery, which I like. She's underneath the water. She's in the kind of abyss, the unknown. It's the unconscious or the subconscious. And you have a dog and a wolf. So it's this duality of being tame versus being wild. And in the darkness, not really knowing which one is which, and not being able to, just having to trust. And what comes up with this card a lot is trust. And that's what comes up in the Muse card also. I really love how the Moon in this card is not just a big white ball or a big blue ball. It's a big pink ball, okay? And there are two, there's kind of like a light and a shadow, and you're not sure which is which, and you're not kind of sure what path you have to take. And I really like with this card, because it is a lifelong lesson to me to have to trust the universe, trust that I'm supported, but also to trust myself, and knowing that you're on the right path requires a lot of trust in yourself when you're just not sure. So the words that I wrote down here in my journal are feminine, illusion, shadow, dark night of the soul, intuition, instinct, facing the shadow, anxiety and fear, which I've had a lifetime supply of anxiety. And so there's something just very familiar to me about this card. And there's also something exciting about this card because this girl, this woman, even though she's in a scary situation, the guidebook beautifully talks about her seeing the bubbles float up toward this dim light and just kind of knowing that that's her way out. And the excitement comes when you know that you're going to get something huge, a huge leap out of this not knowing, that at some point you will know. So a couple of quotes here from the guidebooks. One was, these spoke to me, trust your intuition and float. Like, stop struggling to control everything. At some point, you just have to trust that this is what's supposed to happen, or that this can be a good thing. And then one of the questions that came up, oh, here's another quote, find the deep truth in your own discernment. That's a tough one, right? Finding, trusting not needing validation from anyone but ourselves, and trusting what we know to be true or our own guidance takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice. One of the questions that came up, which really struck me and I wrote down, even though the path may be dimly lit, are you willing to move ahead? Like, keep going even though you're not sure where you're going. And that's me right now. I sure as hell don't know where I'm going. But this series for me is just practice in, even though I don't know where I'm going, I just have to do something. I have to take one step forward and kind of keep going on some sort of path and see what comes up. So I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to lay out the spread, which for the moon is called The Dog and the Wolf, a spread for releasing fear, trusting instinct, and seeing truth. We all need to do that, don't we? I would love to see the truth. Just tell me everything. Just tell me what I need to know so I don't have to figure out this riddle. This is my constant conversation with God. Could we dispense with the riddles and just get to the answer? The question and answer portion of our prayer. So we have 4 cards for this one: the dog, the wolf, the shadow, and the untamed. And I will turn the camera around and I'll give you a better view of the spread and the cards that I pick. Here is the dog and the wolf spread. And the last one with the magician called for starting with the magician in the spread, and this one doesn't call for that. So I'm just going to pick 4 cards from the Light Seers, and then after I turn over each card, I'll pick it from the Muse deck and just see how they're different. Because the Muse deck I have in order so that I can find the cards, and we'll see if that augments the spread at all. Feel free to try this spread and let me know how it goes, and let me know if any of this, if you can identify with any of this. I think I'm going to pull all 4 cards at one time. Okay, so I'm going to pull the dog, which is pack mentality, the wolf, which is wild knowing, the shadow, hidden fears, etc., and the untamed, how can I embody and integrate both learned and instinctual wisdom. I'm going to pull from right there. I don't always pull cards like that, but sometimes I just do, and I don't really think too long about where where I'm getting each card. Okay. Here's the moons. All right, so the first one, what mentality or pack mentality, what conditioning, etc. is playing a role in my life at this time? Is it helping or hindering? That's interesting. You know, I love this card. And it's interesting that we have the tame and the wild here showing itself. Of course, I've always felt like I have to keep myself under control a little bit and not be too big. You know, I can't shine too brightly, or I can't draw attention to myself. And I also struggle with wanting to draw attention to myself, but then when I get attention, I'm mortified. So there's that. You might say that's the Scorpio Aries thing. You know, I love to blame astrology. Here's the Muse card. And do I think that's helping me? I think what helps me is I'm really good at calling out those parts of myself and recognizing those parts of myself. I'm very introspective. I'm very self-reflective. I journal like a mad person. And so I think that's the part that helps me. And the part that doesn't help me is the part where I'm worried about appearances, and the part where I'm worried about, it's not even taking up space. It's just being worried about getting too big for my britches. Like being called out on that, the same thing that came out with the magician, that imposter syndrome. Like, who are you to read tarot cards on the internet? You don't know jack shit. But I do know a lot. So there's that constant like struggle with myself to push myself to actually take action and not just plan. Okay, the wolf is wild knowing. What can I do to unleash my wilder nature? How can I listen to my instincts, find my freedom, and express my beautiful, untamed, and unique energy? The Two of Pentacles. I really love the pentacles in this deck. Let me find it in the Muse Tarot. Well, you know, I've always, I guess, juggled the things I need to juggle quite well. When I have committed myself to something, I usually do pretty well at it. But there is this part of me that feels the need to be perfect and feels the need to go all the way and be the best, or why am I even doing this? So I guess to unleash my wilder nature, I have to be willing to kind of let one of these plates possibly fall and shatter into a million pieces. And I see a difference in these Two of Pentacles. I see this person being, this is me, who's like, I have these two pentacles, but and I like how she's kind of lassoing something bigger than herself, and this is something a little more mundane and juggling that, but she's very careful and very guarded, I feel like, when I look at her, and she doesn't want to make a mistake. And this one is just very like, I'm just gonna dance with this and it'll probably look cool, and if it doesn't, I'll at least feel good. And she's not really worried about what other people are seeing, or if other people get it. And I guess I have to figure out, you know, that's the constant YouTube channel battle, right? putting yourself out there and just kind of hoping that the people who get it find you, and ignoring the people who don't get it. And this is the battle with a small channel. There's this ego, like, why am I not having a huge channel? But do I even really want that? What's my goal? Why am I doing this? We're all in that kind of why am I doing this space that we have to revise over and over. The shadow is what hidden fears, anxieties, or repressed emotions are playing a role in my situation. How can I let them go? Oh, Lord. The Ace of Wands. Am I repressed? I don't know. Let me find the wand in here, which is going to be the card of inspiration. Well, here's the thing. Aces are little seeds that, the ace is not the whole gift. The ace is just like the opportunity. And we have this, you know, ace of inspiration, this passion, this vision, this energy to do something, maybe a calling. And I feel like I have this seed, but the shadow part of me is that my anxiety kind of, I'm holding this seed in my hand and I've been holding it for years and years. And the shadow part of me is sort of scared of what would happen if I planted this seed and nurtured it. And so I kind of like have that bulb in my hand and I don't ever put it in the ground and give it water because I'm afraid I'm going to do it wrong. What is it going to grow into? I don't know. And I guess I don't know really what end game is. Like, where is this taking me? Is this going to fail? And then we have the Untamed. How can I embody and integrate both learned and instinctual wisdom? How can I move ahead, releasing my fears and step into my untamed authenticity? Just the word untamed kind of leaves me unsettled. Because that implies like I'm not controlling it. Six of Swords. Okay, to me the Six of Swords is a spirit guide card, kind of having the help, having these unseen forces guide your boat. And I'm telling you, they talk to me, and sometimes it's hard to trust that. And this is all about what the moon is. It's that trust, not knowing, am I on the right path? Am I seeing this clearly? Should I keep going? And that's why I think that question popped out at me. Even though the path may be dimly lit, are you willing to move ahead? And here we have the Six of Voices. And that's what I feel like. I'm her, like on the edge. Am I going to fall off on those spiky things? I hope not. But I guess there is someone or something holding, the universe, we'll call it, spirit, holding me in the palm of their hand. Or maybe my higher self is holding me in the palm of my hand. Like, and that's trusting my abilities and trusting my instincts and trusting that when I get this calling, this nagging that's been nagging at me for quite a while now, that I follow it and trust that this isn't a total sham. By this and this thing that I'm talking about, I know what it is in my head. And I'm not sharing. Okay, well, that's my little spread. Wow, that was profound. And a clear message. A clear message, and this has been a message I've been working with for a really long time. This whole year that blew up in my face, this is pretty much that seed. It's my gift that, like, here, you want to plant this seed? You want to take this magic wand and learn how to use it. Here you go. And I'm kind of paralyzed with fear. Let me flip the camera around. Okay, tell me if you can relate. So there it is, my deep dark secrets, the moon. It's all out there. Trust myself and whatnot. I'm just going to go through the deck until I find the next major card, and that's going to be the one that I do next week. Okay. Tell me if you do this spread. Oh shit. It's the Tower. Yay. All right. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, I'm an expert at that card. All right. Well, thanks for joining me for Light Seers Sunday, and I will see you next week, I hope, because I'm going to I have some stuff coming up, but maybe I'll have to plan and record in advance. Okay. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe, or whatever the kids say. Bye.